Good evening. Good evening. I do apologize for the delay, but I'm just going to be before you quickly this evening. Just talk about a few hot topics, I think, for business because there is a deadline that's coming up. And so tonight, you just got me, Patricia Winfield, the owner of Tax and Things Financial Services, as well as the founder of My Sister's Keeper. But we're going to talk about some business stuff. There are business tax deadlines. So I want to kind of hit on some of those things, making sure that if you have your business set up as a S corp, a partnership, or you're a 501c3 or C corp, you need to understand that those taxes are due. And they are due on March the 15th, which is next Tuesday. So if you have not gotten your stuff to your preparer, if you have not gotten it to your accountant, you need to make sure that they are filing a extension for you because those taxes are due. Business tax returns are due March 15th. And so a lot of times individuals um, will come to preparers and tax professionals and ask them to do this quickly. And you don't want anybody to do your business tax quick. You want to make sure that they are able to go through if they've got, because if it's whether it's the first time them doing it or consistently someone who's been doing your books, you still want to make sure that they have had the time to get it right, to make sure all your numbers are lining up. If there's some questions, if there's things that are missing, that you have lined that up. Again, this is for S corps, partnerships, farms, as well as because most farms fall under either S corp or partnership, and then C corporations. March the 15th. March the 15th, 2022 is the deadline for business tax returns. And so you want to make sure that um, you have those tax returns in on time because guess what? They penalize you per shareholder at a minimum of $210 per day, that per month, excuse me, that they are behind, that they're late. And so you don't want that if you forget. And then next thing you know, you got 5 shareholders, every one of them getting a bill for the same amount, and they're trying to figure out why. Don't delay on your business taxes. Make sure that you are on top of that, your business tax returns. I just want to kind of put that out there. A few things that I want to just talk about today. Not a lot. I'm not going to keep a lot of your time. I also have some time restraints myself. A couple things that businesses. You are an S corp. Let me explain. As an S corp, you must have your business set up. Limited liability companies. Yeah, you can see this in front of me. This is a binder that has all of your documentation in it. You should have your seal. You should have notes. You have a tab for your articles of organization. If you have not set up the organization correctly, what are your guidelines? What are the things that you're doing? So you have to have articles of organization. You are required to have meetings. So you should have a secretary so that that means you have a board and you're having a meeting, minutes from your meeting, actions of consent from the board, from the members, a place for you to keep your EIN information. You should have members transfer. If you have stock, you may not be being traded, but as a corporation, you can select to have stock and you want to make sure that you have that. So, and then it's going to be hard to see this, I know, but this is your certificate. All right, it's blurry. I have to change my settings when I'm going to do this. This is your certificates of stock that you issue, your membership interest. For those individuals who are coming on, you need to make sure that you give them, you saying, okay, I'm giving you a share of my business. What does that mean? What documentation? Did you come up with a partnership agreement that each one of them work? working out of. And here, as a partnership, you must decide on what's the most important thing in your business. One of the things that a couple of partners of mine that we're in business because we all bring something different to the table. You may have a partner that not bring any money to the table, and that's okay if what they're bringing to the table has value. And so they could be bringing knowledge. They could be the one doing the work. Then they could be the one that has the connections. Or they may be the one that's looking at the credit. And then you have one that may be the financer. If all of them, so you got to be in agreement and find out what is worth to you to make this business effective and make it work across the board. A lot of times we don't think on those things. It's not just about how much money you can bring to the table. It's about what are you the benefit of having that individual as a partner to your business. And so if for some reason you don't find that that person does not if you don't find that that person brings value to your business and bring money, then that's a problem, because you're in business with the wrong person. So I just want to kind of talk about a little bit of things business wise. And then the next thing, I'm going to just talk about a few things on the business side. Again, I'm not staying before you long today, but I promised that I would bring some business topics and business tips. I didn't have a guest with me tonight. I will have one next week, but let's talk about the biggest reasons for business failures: insufficient work capital. That means current assets are less than the current liabilities. That means your money in the bank. Assets are your money in the bank and your debt. You got more debt than you got money to pay. Inexperience. A lot of times, remember I talked about those partners coming together. And when partners come together, they can help you in making some decisions on what it is that you're getting ready to do. They can help you in making sure, because they may have the experience, someone who's been in business, and you may have the money, but they're coming to the table with something else. And so because of that, you're pulling your resources together, and resources is not always money. Okay. You got to put a value on it. Extravagance, spending money for unnecessary purchases. You have to have a budget. You need to have things balanced. You need to make things work. So listen, get that make sure that you're not buying just because all of a sudden I got all this income coming in, all of this revenue coming in that you've never had your hands on before, and you start purchasing stuff that don't make sense. It needs to make sense in your business. So these are reasons why people fail, why businesses fail. Overly optimistic or unrealistic outlooks. You got to be realistic about how your business is going, what's happening, the money that you're making. You need to be realistic about business and what's happening currently in your business. So if you don't get that part right, then what will happen is you will miss out and you'll mismanage. You'll miss the business itself. Personality issues, excuse me. How about you go in business with somebody you really don't know, and you have not checked how they operate business. Y'all have not had the right conversations about how business should operate. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be in the place of disagreement, and you're not going to have anything to stand on because you all signed a contract. But yet you didn't have a conversation before the contract. And so that's a big, big, big problem. So make sure that you have an opportunity to have a conversation before you go That's kind of like getting married, y'all. Before you get married to somebody, you guys go through counseling. Before you get married to somebody, you find out about their likes and their dislikes. So, why would you go in business without finding out some of that stuff? And then you're wondering why the business isn't working. You're wondering why things are not going the way they should. And you got these personality conflicts. Okay. Dishonesty. Ooh. If you've got employees, you've got partners who are not honest about where you are in the business, what's going on financially, and if somebody is not over seeing the management of the business, and you guys are not having business meetings and talking about what works and what doesn't work, you're going to be in trouble. Listen, just because I am the one that does the accounting doesn't mean that I need to oversee all of the money. Doesn't mean that I need to know everything about, or the only one, I should say. That's why you are partners and you have meetings and you talk about financials so you'll know what's going on. So you all can figure this thing out together. It's critical. If you don't do this, your business is not going to fail. Credit policies. How much credit should you get? How much credit you should not get? Because again, when you go to purchase something, if you go to purchase something major, they're going to talk about debt to income ratio. And so debt to income ratio in your personal and your business, you want to make sure you have the availability to be able to make the right purchases that you need. Okay, not the big fancy cars and anything like that. And again, an incomplete accounting system. You do not know how many businesses I run into on a regular basis that don't have any kind of accounting system at all. You're not using an Excel spreadsheet. You're not even using the old-fashioned ledger where you record debits and credits down. You don't balance your checkbook. Listen, let me explain something. If you don't do it in your personal, you're not going to do it in your business. And so you got to understand that you must record your transactions in some type of system, and you must review the system to see whether or not it is working properly. If it's not working, because you're not monitoring, because you're not utilizing it, how is your business going to be successful? It's not. Oh, you'll make money. You may make a lot of money, but it will go through your hands so fast because you won't have any picture of what you're doing. That's what a budget, and that's what a forecast, that's what a profit and loss statement, that is what, and not just a profit and loss statement, but your balance sheet. But if you don't understand what any of those things are, if you don't have a clue what a profit and loss statement is, how are you going to be successful? A profit and loss tell you about what your business is doing on a monthly or quarterly and even annually basis. You should know this monthly. A profit and loss statement or an income statement, it has both names and it means the exact same thing, will tell you whether or not, if you read it carefully, somebody's taking product out of your business. You should be able to see the fluctuation of supplies. You should be able to see the fluctuation of your income or returns. If everything is being coded correctly, there is a coding to accounting. Everything has to be categorized based on, if you got a whole lot of expenses lined up in miscellaneous, you better check and see what that is. You need to understand your own accounting system. And so when you have your quarterly, monthly meetings with your tax professional, your bookkeeper, your CPA, whomever you decide to allow to service your needs, they should be able to explain to you what's happening on paper. the numbers will not lie. They'll be able to tell you what's going on in your business, how much money. Guess what? If your bookkeeper, accountant, CPA is writing all your checks and paying your bills, and you never require them to provide you a statement to review every single month, let me tell you what's going to happen. Excuse me. You're going to have expenses that you did not know anything about. Because if you don't know what's going out, how are you going to know what's coming in? You know you did the job, but are they collecting? What if somebody's not paying? If you got a whole lot of outstanding accounts receivable, when it's supposed to be net 30, that means pay in 30 days, or net 15, pay in 15, or due upon receipt. And then these transactions have not been sent to collections. Listen, business owners, let me say this. And I'm telling you from a place that I know. Do not allow individuals to continuously utilize your service without paying. Do not allow individuals to continuously get credit and they don't see value in making the payment on the time and the agreement they have. As don't let the fact that you may be a Christian be the cause for somebody to walk on you like a doormat and not pay their bills. Because they need you provided a service, and it is their responsibility to pay for the service. Now, if this is not happening on a regular basis, you need to bring the customer in, have a conversation, allow them, send them letters, and let them know what the next step. Let them know that this is going to collections, it's going to court, whatever it is. And if you don't have a collection department, you might need to have one. You might need to have someone on your side who is good at that. Have those conversations. Let your clients know from the beginning. That's not operating a smart business. And I'm telling you this from experience of trying to be nice to people and giving them an opportunity because of circumstances. But guess what? Business owners, your bills got to get paid just like the people that you're servicing. And so they must understand that, and so must you. It's so important that you remember this ain't your money. This is the business money. Okay. So let me go back here and talk about a few things. When you make sure that the principles of those bad reasons for your business failing, when you make sure insufficient capital, inexperience, extravagant spending, dishonesty, overly optimistic, personality issues, credit policies, listen, you got to have policies and procedures. SOPs are standard operating procedures in your business are critical. Before you decide to launch this business, there is some foundational things that you have to do. You have to have job descriptions so that people know what is expected of them when they come into your place of employment. When you do an application, you need to have employee files. You need to make sure that you are consistently following the procedures. I'm talking about business owners and startup. So when you get started, you got to be able to make sure you have these things. So take the time, do the research, understand your business, understand the documentation, good evening, that you should have for your business. So making sure that you remember some critical things. And like I said, I'm not going to be on here long. I'm just trying to give you some good startup. If you weren't here in the beginning, just go back and read, listen to the video again. Amen. So, critical concepts to remember. Critical concepts to remember. You need to remember some principles. Remember the bad things. Understanding the bad things that cause you to fail in your business is so critical that you understand those things and then eliminate them. When you understand them, you'll be able to eliminate systems and make sure systems work according to the plan for your business. Have a business plan. Sit down and talk to someone about planning your business. A business plan is critical. I'm going to have next week someone to come on and they're going to talk about some business credit. They're going to talk about, let's see, I want to make sure I give you what they definitely know. They're going to talk about business financing and getting you ready for lending. Doesn't that sound good? So they have done this. And so they want to make sure you're ready. My goal is to make sure on Thursdays, your business is prepared to go to the next level. We are strategically giving you a plan, an outline on how to do this. Making sure that when you're in business, that you're doing some things to help you grow your business. Listen, they tell you it takes about 5 to 7 years for your business to see a profit. That depends on what you have in place. That depends on whether or not you have been taking notes and implementing some change when you saw things did not work. Because if you don't implement change, if you don't implement something different when you already know that it wasn't working, you're going to miss it. So you've got to make sure that you do everything to help your business come together as a whole. That's why you have meetings with your partners. That's why you all talk about the finances. That's why you guys try to figure out what works best for the business and as a whole. So, couple things that we talked about today. Talk about setting up your business properly, making sure that all your businesses have, and I know you can't see this very good on because of the blurriness, but this is a binder for your business. This binder you have, it should have for this, my business was a limited liability company. And inside that, I have a seal that is a seal that has my business name on it. It has a place for my minutes. It has a place for my articles of incorporation, organization. You have to have articles. I said that in the beginning. I can't stress that enough. The articles of organization help determine your structure. You got certificates where you give stock. If you have stock business, you're preparing. Nobody should set up a business, and in my opinion, you should not set up a business just to run for a couple of years. You should be looking longevity. You should be looking at legacy. And if you're not, then you got to realize, why are you really in business? Are you in business because you're just trying to find something to do? Did you take a hobby and make it into a business? Or are you really in business to make a life change for some other people? Okay. So I know that I haven't seen a whole lot of people. And if there's questions, listen, when you come back on and you run across this and you see something that clicks, ask a question. Go to one of the Facebook pages that I'm sharing this on and ask a question. Business and ministry can be similar. You have to have a budget. You have to have a plan. And so you have to make sure you have structure. Last week we talked about the different types, the entity types. And so tonight I just talked briefly about some things that can make a business fail. Remember those things, they can make fail. And I'll post something so that you guys can see it. Things that will cause your business to fail. All right. So tonight, I said I was going to be quick. and make sure, because I do have another assignment, and I just wanted to make sure that I shared a few things with you so that you would be able to just try at least kickstart your business, or giving you something to say, I got a little bit of work. I got to think about this and that. And I got to make sure that when I go to partner with someone, that we talk about certain things for the business and how things are going to be handled. Okay. So make sure that you do that. To, like I said, I just, my goal is ever even is to come on and just share a little bit of knowledge that I have in this very area. All right. So thank you guys. Y'all have a good evening. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. We will be on Tuesday, back on Tuesday again when we have Tuesday talks. Let's see, some tax Tuesdays. So we'll talk about taxes. And I last week we this Tuesday we talked about the Schedule A. So come back. We had myself. We had Miss Latrice Davis. So from Legacy Consultations Consultants. Excuse me. No, I was right first time. Legacy Consultations LLC was with me. She was with me, as well as Shakira Talley from Talley Financial Services. So listen, let's come back, share whatever questions you have. If you're looking at starting up a business, what is it going to take? What is it you need to know budget wise? What do you need financially to get your business moving? It does take money to start a business. You got to have operating capital. If you don't plan to do that, you're going to be in trouble. You cannot operate a business without funding. It doesn't work. Even if you have a great idea, it does not work. Okay. Thank you guys again. I appreciate each and every one of you who have stopped by. Stop by next Thursday when we are going to have someone on the line who will talk about getting yourself credit ready, lending ready when necessary.